Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today we've got a battle between two infantry civilizations that also have some pretty cool unique backup units, as Hera playing as the Malians in blue takes on Nicov playing as the Armenians in red. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their explorables, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Malians are classified as an infantry civilization, but man, oh man, are they so much more. To start with, yeah, sure, units produced in a Malian barracks do get extra pierce armor for free, starting in Feudal all the way up to +3 for free in Imperial, and their unique unit is the Gabedo, a quick infantry unit with a pretty strong ranged melee attack, but terrible HP and 0 base armor of any kind. But beyond their infantry, Malian cavalry can actually be upgraded to get a massive +5 attack boost, which is amazing because even though they don't have access to Hussars or Paladins, with this upgrade, the Malian Cavalier does come with a higher attack than a Paladin, and their light cavalry and heavy camel riders are some of the strongest in the game. Now, if instead you choose to go the Archer route, you'll have plenty of wood to train your units because all Malian buildings except for farms cost 15% less wood. And lastly, in order to help you build your military up as fast as possible, Malian gold miners do drop off 10% more gold, their universities work 80% faster, and their settlements are much harder to raid because the Malians can actually upgrade these guys, their town centers, to fire 8 arrows when empty and up to 18 arrows when fully garrisoned compared to the usual 10. Speaking of the usual 10, let's take a look at Nicov as the Armenians in red, also an infantry civilization with some cool supporting features. To start with, all Armenian infantry come with extra line of sight and are available in Age earlier, which means Armenians actually have spearmen in Dark Age, longswordsmen and pikemen in Feudal, and two-handed swordsmen, champions, and halberdiers in the Castle Age. Now, these same infantry units, except for their spearman line units, can be upgraded to get a big +30 boost to their HP, and their first unique unit, the Warrior Priest, is a unit that blurs the line between Man of War and Man of the Cloth, being an infantry unit that can actually heal friendly units and also gather relics. Now, to support their slower moving bipedal army on the battlefield, the Armenians can field a second unique unit, the Composite Bowman. This is a foot archer whose attack actually ignores the armor of all land units except for siege. And lastly, for them to get their military industrial complex up and running ASAP, whenever they build their first fortified church, it does come with a free relic. Their mule carts are 25% cheaper than normal, and all mule cart technologies, I don't know why I highlighted the dragon tree when I was trying to click on the mule cart, but all mule cart technologies are 40% more effective, which means more productive Armenian miners and lumberjacks. So, a very interesting, at least on paper, similarity between these two civilizations. For now, speaking of similarities, both players at 16 villagers a pop, which gives us a decent opportunity as Hera pulls his second rhino. Oh, tusk in the ass for that villager. Man, oh man, is it almost impossible to pull these beasts without taking some kind of damage. Although not the end of the world with 4 HP still left, although I might want to get Loom for that villager to boost or roider up a little bit. But in any event, as they still are at the same villager count, let's take a look at the bases and see whether any player here is particularly advantaged or disadvantaged. Hera with a bit of a triangle-shaped, small-ish forest cover, which gives him a decent opportunity to wall off his settlement. A few extra forests here to the south make it very easy to the south, but to the north, a little bit more open. Primary gold very exposed to the front, although based on the trajectory, if we want to extrapolate from where these buildings are going, he should secure that gold pretty readily. Stone to the back, secondary gold off to the side, secondary stone off to the side, and then tertiary gold in the Tetris piece all the way exposed. No forest coverage for you here, at least not initial forest, more of a neutral forest. So not a terrible base, to be honest, for Hera. A little bit of an exposure to gold assault, but beyond that, not a terrible base if he wants to turtle up and wall himself in. Let's take a look at Nikov's base. Also not a terrible base. His forests are a little bit closer together, which means that the distances in this isosceles triangle are a little bit longer, but his primary gold and stone are nice and secure to the back. Does have a few more patches of resources off to the front. And where's the third gold? Right there in the same exact Tetris piece. So whereas Hera has, I think, the better forest coverage, Nicov has the better starting primary resource location. Unfortunately for him, 2 of his starting resource patches are very much in the forward position, where at least Hera has his. A little bit off the beaten path, a little bit off the attack path. Nicov opting to wall off the easier part first, of course. Why the hell not? As Hera now sees the patch of gold, sees that it's the primary gold, and knows he's in the right vicinity, as I guess he knows when he sees the town center as well, and now sees the mule cart, the donkey cart, whatever the hell you want to call it. Nicov has also now discovered his opponent, and by the way, discovered double range. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's a big psyop here by our Malian, who deletes one of them, is now just building the one. Nicov sees the villagers. He sees they're exposed. Will he see that they are loomless? No, they now have loom, so he's going to be a little bit more careful to engage, whereas Hera, not going to be careful at all. Remember, we're in the Feudal Age, so all Malian units from the barracks come with extra pierce armor, which is why you'll see the base armor of 1+1, even though Hera hasn't researched scale mail armor at all. We'll see what he can get done here. Nicov already walling off my favorite lemon bushes. Is this walled off? Yeah, this is walled off. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see. Always with elevation, it's a real mind F. Like, for example, these structures. Believe me, there's a very possible that there is a gap here in this wall off, even though it looks like the houses are one on top of the other. And Hera, okay, I guess doesn't like, maybe he was outbid on this one particular house by Nicov, and so he says, you know what, if I can't have it, nobody will, and tries to raise it to the ground. As what are you, a condor or a vulture? A vulture flies overhead. And first kill of the game here going to Nicov. It looks like he's going to take another militia. He does. He's going to take the third. Down goes the third, and it is 3 kills to none. All of the extra pierce armor doesn't help one bit against the melee units. And now Nicov chases. Ooh, Hera's got to be careful. These scouts are identical in all respects. So if Nicov can catch up, he does need only 1 more attack. No melee armor on this scout at whatsoever. And so 5 HP to Nikov's 5 attack means that 1 swipe of the little sword that these guys are holding is doom for this blue scout. In the meantime, let's take a look. Nicov strikes, lashes out yet again, gets another kill. A villager this time. Oh, I thought he was going to sandwich Hera's scout. He very much could with 3 of his own. And there you go. 5 kills to none, including a villager, including possibly a few more villagers. Nikov's aggression here is paying off. 2 dead villagers, but loses 1 of his scouts, so not exactly a free get. And now with the presence of 1 simple spearman with extra pierce armor as well, because remember, it applies to all units out of a barracks, and the spearman does come from a barracks. Poke in the ass, and the horse goes down, so Hera evens. Sorry, what am I talking about? Evens. He doesn't even at all. He's down 4 kills still. But he is circling. He's brought some archers along for the ride now. He's got a spearman as well. So cavalry is going to be a little bit more hesitant to engage into this army. But you know what won't? These skirmishers, which are absolutely, if they can, going to wreck this entire expeditionary force of our Malian, who returns home with his spearmen, the dead carcasses of the horse that he killed over here. Ooh, look at the HP, a massive 18 HP on these 2 units, and that's it. Our Malian, rather, our Armenian, I don't know, I mean, so many calls wrong right now. So many descriptive calls wrong. Our Armenian has had enough. He is starting to wall off this base. Will he continue down south? Will he go east? Has he seen? Okay, so he has seen the forest to the east. Will be interesting to see how Nicov decides to wall that off. For now, Hera making 0 attempt to wall anything off here. We'll see whether or not that helps him, whether or not that hinders him as he is moving in with his spearmen. We'll see the wall off being prepared. Will he attack the villager? No. Gives her the cold shoulder. This is a spearman that is trained in the game, and so he negs that one villager and moves right past her. Uh-oh. Hera enters in here. Nicov with the viper-like reflexes, though, has a wall off up and running. The level of gameplay, I mean, look at the Elos. I mean, we're talking about players with 2,700 Elo, but still, the level of gameplay in Age of Empires is just absolutely redonkulous when you get into these higher levels as the spearman Yeah, okay. He knows he can't enter here anymore. Now that that town center has 4 kills. So far, the MVP of the game is this Armenian town center. He knows he can't do anything anymore. If it killed 4 archers, he has 0 chance of surviving those arrows. And let's see what the players have built, what they're building, what direction we think they're going, as they both look like they're accumulating the resources to go up to castle, and both have disengaged. Although, of course, right as I say that, Nicov sends these ridiculously unhealthy scouts all the way across the map. Our Malian, we saw the archery range. We know he's got a blacksmith. Actually, no, we don't. Never mind. Actually, yeah, we do. Never mind to my never mind, as the archers do have fletching, the +1 attack and range. He also has a stable up. Okay, so Hera's got the structures, and he is clicking up to Castle Age first. Okay, neg no longer. This villager takes matters into her own hands, says, "You're not going to kill me, Mr. Spearman. You're not exactly the strongest unit here." Nicov also is paying attention back home. Hera tries to run by with a scout. Will he get through? Will he run the gauntlet? Yes, he does. And now he's going to be even more annoying. 1 spearman, 1 scout, and a whole bunch of archers are heading this way. Nicov is also now clicking up to Castle Age, 30 seconds behind his opponent. Look at the town center idle time. Nicov 8 seconds, Hera almost a minute. Let's take a look. He's got a blacksmith. He's got a stable. He's got the barracks, the archery range. The only thing missing, I think, for both players is the market. Yeah, neither player really having a market at the moment. Villager walls herself away from this spearman, tired of his creepy advances. This guy stares forlornly at the ether, hoping that it stares back, reveals something about his soul, penetrating. But alas, this is just a video game, not a philosophical... What am I trying to say? Not a philosophical... Oh, what's the expression? Like a mind game? Thought experiment is what I'm looking for. There we go. The villager killed the spearman. I pivoted to look north to see this red spearman coming, but he wasn't even necessary here, as she took matters, like I said, into her own hands. Uh-oh, but Hera's moving forward with the scout. He does have 14 HP, and he is now in Castle Age. He's going to try to whack-whack-a-doodle, but has to get the hell out of here with that 1 spearman hot on his tail. So a lot of little minor engagements so far. Nicov taking a massive kill lead, 19-6. But Hera evens that up right as I finish that sentence to 19-7. And he's going to keep Nicov running around with this 1 scout. The villager at this point might as well turn towards the spearman as opposed to trying to run away. Oh, so much vision from just having 1 unit inside the recesses of your opponent's base. And it looks like right as I panned away, that scout did die as well. Oh my goodness. You know, you wonder why I introduced picture-in-picture, because there are games when out of like 20 kills, I pan away from 10 of them at maybe the worst possible time. 3rd town center going up for our Malian, decent location. 2nd one also a pretty decent location to get that stone to the back, which he is mining in earnest with 9 villagers. 7 for our Armenian. Both players have knights out. Okay. First fortified church for our Armenian comes with that free relic, which always changes the dynamic of the game, introduces a 6th relic to the game. So whoever can get all of the relics. Imagine if Hera destroyed this fortified church, brought home that 1 relic, having 6 relics for a civilization that already has a gold-related bonus. Or imagine Armenian gets all 6 and starts pumping out endless amounts of 100 HP champions with Feriders. Bye monk. He goes down as he looks for that relic, which, by the way, Nicov has now seen as well. Nicov Knight enters the rear end of Hera's base and dies immediately. So a few minor engagements. I hope that means that we're gonna build big armies and clash against each other, arena or fortress style. Look at the villager count. It remains identical. Nicov has killed 2 villagers to the 1 of Hera. Hera, though, still a minute and 15 seconds, a minute 14 seconds of idle time. Guns down a few more Feudal Age archers. Rather, has his Feudal Age archers gunned down, and now has to get the hell out of here. You cannot take on a monk. I mean, probably you could take on a monk, but you're going to lose one of these knights to a conversion in the 2nd knight to the town center, all in exchange for a monk. Probably not the best of trades. And look at Nikov's base. I'm going to zoom out. Carved himself what looks like an 1/8 of the map. Hera remains unburdened by palisade or stone walls. Just letting it all hang loose. Here is our Malian. who is down 2 villagers, down a little bit of army count, but neither statistic really terrible when you're down 59 to 57, 13 to 8. Not exactly a lot of aggression out of our Armenian, who... I mean, I mentioned Arena. Are we on Arena? What is going on? The players seem to be fighting tooth and nail over the relics. And interestingly, unlike Arena, where there's a whole bunch of scouts and light cav, here they're doing it with knights and light cav. The chase continues. Hera says, you know what, I don't feel like microing this unit anymore. Throw him away as he moves forward with 800 stone and... Oh my god. 16 villagers. Okay. Not if, but where is the castle going up? This is a very cocky castle location here to absolutely perfectly lame. We saw the Viper do this a few days ago, perfectly laming Vivi's resources, but now it is Hera's turn. He says, you know what? I see that some of your gold and stone is a little bit exposed as he tries to do a fancy maneuver. We'll get the monk. I'm surprised our Malian isn't upgrading his scouts to light cav. It does take 3 whacks of the sword to kill a monk for a scout, 2 for a light cav based on the bonuses. And there we go. Right as I say that, his... Oh my god. Right as I say that, he upgrades them to light cavalry units. And a bit of a standoff here in the middle of the map. Hera decides to relocate the castle. Not a bad idea, seeing as how much resistance Nicov has been putting in that location. And look at that, with a few skirmishers, he manages to pull out the entire cavalry force of his opponent, gets a few villagers, but ultimately fails at stymieing the castle, which does go up, does get 0 kills. I thought it would have at least gotten 1. Okay, never mind. 0 kills. Those knights were very close to the castle. Their HP is down. It looks like Nicov, with the return of this relic, is going to have... Why did you stop? He's going to have 4 to 2. Brings out a warrior priest, perhaps believing that the double fisting attack of a hatchet and knife is going to be enough to save him. The extra HP is going to be enough to save him. And in he goes with 4 relics in this fortified church, which means, by the way, that this fortified church now fires 4 arrows. That's how relics work inside a fortified church. If you're not familiar, bye-bye scout, bye-bye scout, bye-bye scout. Hello. No ballistics means maybe not bye-bye scout. Bye-bye accurate casting of the game, more like it, as we're 30 minutes in. The players yet again disengage. Donkey stares angrily at the Malian army, threatens, dares them to move forward, as he just kind of hangs out with all of the various, I don't know what the hell, bricks and ropes and, I don't know, weird things on the back of that donkey cart. It is our Armenian who is going to hit Imperial first, and once he does, he's going to have these Lord of the Rings archers out. The composite bowman is here. University as well. Tell me the players have markets, because I don't think Red has a market yet. This is amazing. I mean, Hera buying food. We know he's got a market. There it is to the south of his base. So again, a good time for us to look at the bases. Hera's jutting out straight into Nikov's territory. Nicov doing the exact same thing. This is apparently the battlefield the players have chosen as their Armageddon location here. Hoo-hoo, you got to be careful. 4 monks are on the hunt. The Armenian retreats. What the hell is he going to do against 4 monks? That is not a trade you want to take. Even if you kill those monks, you know you're losing 4 knights, and all of a sudden, that entire advantage you had in terms of military disappears. Hello? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 villagers is all they got. Now we're getting Gabetos as well. Man, sometimes dreams do come true when you have both unique units of the Armenians, and you've got the unique unit of the Malians here inside the castle. A very loud holy sound shows us that 4 monks began converting at the exact same time as Armenia has to get the hell away. He's now getting devotion, doesn't want to get any of his units converted, or at least make it as hard as possible. Meanwhile, Squires, Scale Mail Armor, Sanctity, Bosa, Hera is absolutely roiding up his economy, getting those infantry upgrades for those Gabetos, no doubt, and now feels confident enough to take control of the battlefield here with a big, fat, juicy castle. Unfortunately for him, it looks like it's a bit on the low ground. Gabetos versus Composite bowman, let's see it. Let's I'm gonna click each unit. Both of them have 40 HP. Both of them have 0 base armor of any kind in terms of pierce. Although the melee armor is more important for the composite bowman because the Gebeto actually does melee armor, melee attack and not pierce. So the composite bowman's 1 base melee armor is better than the Gebeto's 0 pierce armor, but doesn't really matter what your armor is against a composite bowman. Our Malian tries to poke out the eyes, Three Stooges style, of his opponent. And Hera's vision to the south of the map is no longer. Gets a few more villager kills. 18 villager kills to 3. Nicov is ahead, 22 total villager kills. He's ahead about 15% in the score, and now he's going to catch even more villagers out. This is not good for our Malian in blue, who is losing so many villagers on the sands of Arabia. Their blood is everywhere. 25-7. Who's he going to get her? Is he going to get her? No, he does not. But does get 8 extra villager kills since we last saw him. Castle goes down already. I mean, just a second ago it went up. Now it's already crashed, crumbled into the ground. That's what happens when your opponent has 4 frickin' trebuchets. 5, 6 trebuchets. 2 of which it looked like were on the high ground. Light cavalry trying to snipe a monk a little bit too late. All the relics are already got. Composite bowmen are still here. Looks like this band of chevauché knights is returning home. Get inside a castle, heal up, get next to a monk. Something, look at your HP. It's terrible. But 20 kills, 14 of them villagers, is a mission frickin' accomplished for these band of 8 knights. Also mission accomplished as the Armenian castle crumbles, and now Hera brings forth the bombard cannon. He has stated many a time that he is in love with the bombard cannon's mobility compared to the Treb. Although right as I say that, of course, returns. How many kills in the Gebetos? Let's get rid of these 2 guys. 4 kills, all military, as the armies pivot south. Where is Nicov going? Well, there you go. Wrong call 27 of the day here, when I thought this center would be the location of the Armageddon-style final battle. As Nicov pivots south, but Hera's got 2 bombards and one of the game's best raiding unit to dart in and dart out. This Malian Gebeto with its 11 melee attack, not exactly the most armored of units, is the trebuchet with 2 melee. I believe that lowers to 1 when they're unpacked and start flinging their big rocky balls at things. Okay, we're about to find out. No, never mind, we're not. Unpacks them, packs them back up. Okay, going after the bombard cannon is our Armenian, who gets it. So a good snipe there. And now armies are moving around. What is this blue? Just leaving. I mean, 2 HP on this light cab. This is about as useful as you're going to get with this unit. Just hanging out, scouting. 6 trebuchets do move on the high ground. Oh my god, stop teasing us. Am I right about the frickin' melee armor or not? Gebeto's take on composite bowman. And here we go. Let's see it. Preemptive attack rounds out of Hera. Fantastic. Right up until the last very second when his opponent decided to back off. Armenian army is bigger. In terms of quality, I would say they're about on par. The bombard cannons nullify the Trebs. The Trebs nullify the bombard cannons, although obviously the mobility of the bombard's a little bit better. The Gebetos and the composite bowmen basically nullify each other, and now our Armenian is getting bloodlines, forging, and conscription. So he's going to start pumping out light cavalry units of his own, and he's going to start pumping them quick AF. Bombard cannon gets 1 sour, unlucky bastard here amongst the entire horde. 5 more move forward. What's the kill count on these BBCs? Oh my goodness, my clicking skills are so bad. It was 3 a second ago, now it's 7. Hello, Nicov, bring your Trebs forward. As another castle comes under attack, but it's on the high ground. Another castle up here being built as well. Nicov wants to surround the center map area with castles. And this one annoying forest is just being so bad for both players, I think. Fantastic snipe there with a very unupgraded light cavalry unit. When you can trade out 80 food for 450 resources, that's the best. But maybe second best to getting it all for free with the bombard cannon. Oh my goodness, 3 more die. Gebetos move in. At this point, I suspect they're just a big, quick moving meat shield for these bombard cannons as Nicov tries to do a bit of a run by here with how many? 5 light cavalry units. One of them dies immediately. Armor is fully maxed out for the Armenians. They don't have the final armor upgrade. 2 remain. 1 remains. And he is fighting a convert. That's the last thing you want to see as you raid your opponent's base, is your own units being thrown back at you. Uh-oh, villager. Players look like they have disengaged in the center of the map. The villager lures the light cavalry into the firing zone of the town center. That guns him down. Was I right about the melee armor? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I have to pat myself on the back a little bit, and unfortunately, you have to hear it. Holy shit! When you've got, what, about 1 billion bombard cannons? 8 of them. You have to stagger your units. You can't clump them up like this. There we go. And Nicov staggers them perfectly. But this is where the Malians just need to run into here. And boom, 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 boom. 2 or 3 trebs go down the toilet. But never mind. He decides to take an engagement. He's on the high ground on the left. Nicov has a few units on the high ground here, but the high ground means nothing in the face of this absolute barrage of death balls from these bombards. I'm trying to click. 7 remain, 30 total kills, 0 villagers. Leave the villager killing to the light cavalry, says Nicov, who now tries to place a castle in one of the worst locations he's about to discover. He doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know it yet. Brings a lion along for the ride. Oh, don't start building this. Don't start building the castle. Cancel it. No, what are you doing? He's not paying attention. And he cancels it. Okay, not that I think he could have built it anyway. Back here to the center. We'll keep an eye on those villagers, see what the hell they get up to. But back to the center. Nicov has the bigger army. He's investing significantly into monk upgrades. There's Farimba for our Malian. So these light cavs are going to hit with an extra +5. Look at that. 14 attack on a light cavalry unit. The light cavalry units are melting, but Hera doesn't care. He's at 180 population to the 170 of his opponent. He's got bombards to the back. Shelling, continually shelling. It looks like one of them got converted. Thank you, monk upgrades, says our Armenian. Who is now the one pushing in, but he's pushing into a castle. He's got to back off. He's trying to get these siege units, but remember, our composite bowman. I don't know why I did a little pirate R there. I was trying to say Armenian composite bowman. The composite bowmen ignore the armor of all land units except for siege, which means this massive 5 pierce armor is going to do a decent job against the massive 8 attack of the composite bowmen. See the armor upgrades here: gunpowder, siege, melee, pierce. And down goes, oh goodness gracious, the last of the trebs. That is incredibly sour, as there is yet another move out here. But now you're competing light cavalry versus light cavalry against Farimba. You're not winning that battle. You don't get hussars, Mr. Armenian. And here we go, Hera. Both players are struggling in various different resources. Hera has no food, no wood. Our Armenian rather has no wood, a little bit deficient in gold and stone. Hera also deficient in stone. We're 50 minutes into the game. The scores are literally, what, 3-4% apart? More raiding to the back by the Armenian. By the way, this original wall-off is still up for the most part, which means Hera's not going to be able to do his usual light cav / hussar shenanigans where he sends raiding parties all over the map. The majority of Nikov's base here, unless Hera goes right through the front gate, is pretty well walled off, pretty secured against any kind of raiding. Composite bowman, how many kills on you guys? Only 23 for 40 units. Another treb is about to die in the blink of an eye to these Farimba light cav. Ugh, they are so freaking good. More raiding to the back. As the villager really pull him into the castle? Yeah, he will. both players have ballistics, which means that that light cavalry is not long for this world. I mean, so far these bombard cannons out of the Malian are just absolutely demolishing the Armenian attack. Every time an Armenian tries to get something going, these bombard cannons, they shoot, retreat, shoot, retreat, shoot, retreat. But the count has been whittled down to 4. And by the way, the Maginot line of Armenian castles is still here. 4 of them in the forward position, non-stop pumping out units. Right as I say that, he stops and goes immediately for all light cavalry, realizing that he's missing the last armor upgrade on the archer units. And that's what he's getting right now is our Armenian, but that's not really going to help against the bombards. And now there's a castle here to the south. Hera, by the way, also has a wall of castles here, both of them running diagonal and parallel to one another. Will he get any of these guys before the castle's Gebeto's light cavalry get him? He does get 1, he does get 2. Oh, so much maneuvering. You'd think you're in Feudal Age here. Hera has 3 bombards left. A fresh virgin enters the scene here to the left. Fresh recruit, newly trained, just got his little conical hat, just got a big sack of balls to carry around with him. And now Hera's at 200 population, his opponent's at 160, and Hera is non-stop training units. This is basically the best case scenario you want to be in at the 53-minute mark of the game, where you're at population cap. Although I say that, he runs straight into an Armenian meat grinder. Holy moly, Hera's population just dropped by 20. He's now only 10 units ahead of his opponent. I like that Nikov's villager count is remaining at a steady 120-ish. Although I suspect if you want to maintain a little bit more composite bowman production, or maybe some even siege of your own, not that Armenian siege is really not really anything to write home about. Actually, now that I think about it, probably no siege is necessary. So you know what, 123 is a decent amount. The problem for him, he's still below the 200 supply, the 200 population. The good news for him is that Hera keeps headbutting the Armenian army right into this dead's kill zone. Oh, he just barely gets those 2 bombards, leaving Hera with just 1. What an absolute glorious battlefield here. Which, by the way, I thought would be up here, but you know, I'm happy to be wrong by 10 tiles to the southeast. If it means we get to see, what, 10 minutes of non-stop death, mayhem, blood and bodies and gore on the ground. 55 is the timestamp. We are looking at an absolute slaughterhouse. What the hell are you doing here? Looks like our Armenian is trying to do a few more run-bys. A little band of friends here, and composite bowman and a light cavalry unit. At least they see that Treb moving all the way from the western shores of the Malian Empire. It's got a long way to go before it reaches this battlefield. But the bombards are back, which means our Armenian has to be careful. All of a sudden, the supplies are terrible for both. 180 to 160. I shouldn't say terrible. They're suboptimal. Armenian has no stone. He can't repair. He doesn't even have the gold to buy stone. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, wait a second. Hera's got 40 light cavalry units. Army counts. He's at triple his opponent with the superior light cavalry unit. As the Armenian yet again chases, tries to get the bombard. Will he get it? Will he get it? Oh, that's so damn close. It survives with 8 HP. And that is very sour. With that bombard surviving, this castle is gonna die just a little bit quicker. And now Hera breaches. There you go. I was gonna say now Hera breaches the base, and now Hera's gonna have the time of his life. By the way, what is going on here? Why are these so far away from one another? Wow. What an absolute epic bloodbath for the last 10 minutes. Look at the battlefield. Look at all the dead horses. Look at the kill count, 506 to almost 400. Even though our Armenian at the end of the day, with all of the raiding and all of the maneuvering in the early to mid stages of the game, does have more than triple the villager count of his opponent. What an absolute game of attrition. This is one of those games that ends almost an hour late, after almost an hour, because one player just runs out of resources. In this case, our Armenian runs out of gold. And even though he's got enough food for 20 more light cavalry units, I mean, what the hell are you going to do against Farimba light cav with your light cavalry? You know, no, the answer is not very much. And let's see how many stables. 14 stables, 11 stables. So Nicov does have the superior military industrial complex. Unfortunately, he has the inferior, I think he had in the high 60s. No, 71 villagers on food compared to Hera's 106, which means Hera is going to pump out almost actually exactly 50% more food. Look at that. That's almost exact. I think that's exactly 50%, right? Of rounding down. Oh, 71 and plus 35 is 106. Look at that. Well, well, well. Also, the castle's in jeopardy. Once that castle falls, look at where all of Nikov's military industrial complex happens to be. It's all right here. All the stables, all the barracks, the fortified church. Where are the relics, by the way? Okay, they're up here. I'm curious to see relic gold. Let's take a look at the stats. I mean, again, this was just an absolute war of attrition that Hera, by virtue of successfully pushing away raids, Nicov, such an aggressive lumberjack operation here, right in the face of these Gabetos. But having successfully pushed back multiple attempts to raid, although let's be honest, not very serious attempts to raid. 5 random light cavalry units, a random light cavalry, and a composite bowman are not exactly a serious attempt at raiding. This is a serious attempt at raiding. This is 880 HP, potentially 11 units. Oh, and this castle is also under attack, by the way. So this castle is going to fall. This castle is going to fall. And Nicov just doesn't have the resources now to fight a multi-front war, especially with the penetration to the rear of the light cavalry units. Let's take a look at the stats. Light cav. Nicov loses this battle, by the way, because of Farimba with the 14 attack. Peak APM, usual for Hera, right towards the end of the game, above 200. Nicov, right at the beginning of the game. Interesting. Okay. And let's take a look at the economies. They can't be that different. Even though our Malian had a bigger economy, the majority of the game. Oh, yeah. So his economy actually was bigger, but Nicov with 2,000 extra. I think that 2,000 basically explains the difference in the size of the economies here. 5,000 more wood, 5,000 less food, gold basically identical, stone basically identical. Let's say conversions, 10 out of 447, 4 out of 3. So neither conversion rate really that high, neither raisings really that high. So it's as I suspect, a game/war of attrition, which one side just wins out by virtue of having, just look at the size of the settlement. This is like box art. This is like what would appear on the back of the game in 1998 if the Malians were a civilization that you saw. Whereas Nikov's, look at how condensed, look at how insanely forward all of this infrastructure is. And now with the Bombard surviving, where are you, Mr. Bombard? There you go, with the 8 HP, with the Treb gunning that castle down, with this Treb unopposed on the low ground. So it's going to take about 1,000 years for this castle to fall. But Nicov doesn't have the stone to repair it, doesn't have the gold to buy the stone to repair it. And now these composite bowmen are all being slaughtered. Doesn't matter. Hera can lose all of these light cav in exchange for one composite bowman, and based on their economy, still be on top. He's training 19 light cavalry units at a time. He's got 4 death dealers with a 5th one on the way. And by that, I mean Trebs and Bombards, whereas our Armenian is stuck on a dozen composite bowmen and no, I mean, somebody's pregnant with some light cavalry units. Two villagers are pregnant with light cavalry units, but they haven't popped out just yet. And ultimately, yeah, Hera just wins the game of economic and military attrition. But what an absolute fun game. Not a lot to analyze in this game. At least I don't think so. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree. But man, from the giant mass of composite bowmen to the 8 bombard cannons that were just maneuvering around, destroying that giant mass of composite bowmen, to the Farimba light cav, to the fancy maneuvers of Nicov to try to get those bombard cannons, all of it just amounted to such an incredibly fun game. And even though Hera takes this one, really, truly GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.